Hey guys, this is Victoria back with another review of VH1 Couples Retreat, Season 1, Episode 5, called Sex School. Obviously, it was 2 weeks from the last episode because I guess they had some VH1 or MTV award show, I don't remember. But, anyways, it was 2 weeks ago. I figured I would just do it right away before I go to bed, so that's why I'm just doing it tonight. Let's just get right into the episode. So it starts off with the couples having one-on-one time again that they've been showing throughout the whole season so far. And I guess the question for this week was name the top 5 things that you love about me. I'm going to move right on because there was nothing much to say about that. There was nothing memorable for me to mention. So I'm just going to move on. So this is now day 5 into the couple retreat. Okay. Rada is talking in her video diary saying that she hopes Mike will keep the pregnancy a secret. Technically, he already didn't because he mentioned it to Lakara, last episode. And from what we're going to see, he's going to be the one that's mentioning it to pretty much everyone, except for the episode next week. For the previews that it showed, she's going to mention it to AJ. And then I think Mike is going to mention it to the rest of the people for the final dinner. So I guess next week is the finale. I don't know. We're gonna find out because they sometimes trick us to believe that, but I'll believe when I see it. So we'll see what's gonna happen next week. But anywho, moving on. I guess for today's activity, Yandy said that she has AJ taking a day off, which leads me to think like, is Yandy paying AJ like herself? It's hard for me to believe that Yandy's paying for like all these guests to come in. I mean, maybe it's because Yandy's part of producer of the show or something. Like, I mean, if she's paying for him, I mean, for all the people to come, I mean, Yandy got banked, but for me, it's kind of hard to believe. I mean, she's probably like the head of the, what's going on and ideas since, she does like co-produce and whatnots, but you gave AJ the day off, or did AJ say, okay, look, I'm gonna need a day off from all y'all crazies? Because that's what that's what I'm led to believe. Okay, AJ's probably like, look, I know this is only a week, couples retreat, but listen, I'm gonna need a day to just detox myself from y'all. A day full of workout by myself without being interrupted by like people like Rada. You know what I'm saying? Let me just have my day off. So I mean, yeah, we're gonna go with what you say. I'm gonna go with what you say, Andy. But you gave okay, all right, okay, sure, whatever. Let's move on. Okay, so they get to this where the girls are sitting together, whatever, the guys are sitting together. The girls are laughing about Ray J being drunk the night before. Ray J's just a damn fool. Okay, so whatever. Then we get to the guys. They talking. Wendy's is asking Mike about how he got into comedy. Mike is telling his, a little short recap of his, story of coming to the U.S. in the 80s during the light skin era with the, Michael Jacksons and whatnot. Like I said, Mike is just a fool. He's talking about, when he came to the U.S., in the light-skinned era, he always got made fun of because he's dark-skinned. So he goes through some of the jokes I guess they used to tell him, that's cool, whatever. It was funny. My husband was cackling. So, okay, that's cool. And then he says, he didn't get that much puss because of that back then. So now that I guess he's a comedian, he's getting this money and whatnot. So now the pussy's coming from everywhere. And so he's making up for lost time. Sure, okay, whatever, it's always a guy's fantasy to, get all the punani that they can, it's always a good thing to be a pimp or whatever the case is. Sure, Mike, whatever. All right, cool. But he makes mention that Rada is like the only chick that probably could get him to settle down and whatnot. And, he loves her, goes into all that. And, but the side bitches is hard for him to get rid of. I don't know, Mike, what do you want? Okay, because you always talking about Rada's the good chick, Rada's the one, she's sweet, she's like the best female for you, whatever, so to speak, but yet you still talk about how it's like so hard to get rid of the side bitches. So clearly she's not that big of a one if you still trying to be with these side hoes. Like, I don't know how much making up time you have to do or what you think, how much time you think you need to make up or whatever, but come on, bro. Like, either you want to be with Rada and be monogamous or you don't. But then, like I said again, like, y'all have a contract. So that's something that needs to be discussed and talked about, worked out, whatever the case is. I don't know. So then we get to the girls. Princess is talking about she does Ray J's nails. Yandy's like, oh, you a good wife? Because I would never. So then Rashida and Delicious talking in the confessional that they do their man's nails because, they got to be on point. I mean, it just depends. I mean, Rada was talking about pretty much Mike's speed is atrocious. And we saw his feet and yeah, them things, them things be looking, he might want to go to the nail salon. You know what I'm saying? Rada, even if you don't want to touch his feet, you should be paying for him to get, well, technically he could pay for himself, to be honest, but Rada, bring him to the nail salon. Y'all go to the nail salon together as a date, because come on, Rada. All right. But pretty much, I feel like, hey, what's wrong with doing a guy's toenails? Like Delicious said, make sure, your man is on point. I feel her on that. Man gotta be, since you on point, you gotta make sure your man on point. So, whatever. The guys come in black robes, all dramatic. So then Yandy's talking about, oh, it's gonna be pampering for the men. And I thought about it and I said, that makes sense. The men, did the first date, a reenactment of the first date. So of course the Yandy said, let's do something for the men. So they do a pampering, I guess, where they're massaging them and whatnot. And, it was all cute. Mike comes and says, oh, you talking about my feet? Mike, we saw them things. We all talking about your feet for like a good 5-10 seconds after we saw them. Saw them things, especially that big toe. You might want to get the little fungi thing to Mike. Okay. So anyway, Mike and Rada starts talking. Rada starts talking about, she's serious. That's what she's been saying like the whole season thus far. She's serious and he needs to, get on the page and whatnot because she has kids, from a previous relationship, and he just needs to get on point. She doesn't want to, I guess, introduce him to her previous kids because she, I guess, doesn't want them to see that she's being disrespected. But yet you talking about you have a 16-year-old daughter that you probably is gonna watch this season, so she's gonna see and hear how you've been disrespected and still are being disrespected. I don't know. I think I heard something about they're not together anymore. I don't know, but Rada, you're not helping your case. Like, I really try, guys, to feel bad for Rada, but I cannot. You signed a contract, first off. From the way Mike was talking of when you guys met, you was his side chick. And then you went along with, okay, we're gonna do threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, whatever. Then you get pregnant by this man, knowing that, in the middle of a contract, and then now you talking about you don't want your 16-year-old daughter to see what you're going through, and girl, listen, you don't want your 16-year-old child to be seeing that, your daughter to be seeing what her mom's going through, but yet you get pregnant by this man. So if you're not even ready for him to see your own previous kids, why would you make a kid with him now? Like, you're not making sense to me. Like, Rod, I'm trying to be on your side. I'm really trying to understand your mind process, whatever, your thought process. But you're not making no sense to me, Rada. Like, you just want to be with this man. Okay, point blank period. If you want to be with him, you want to be with him. That's it. But you know the stipulations with being with Mike, especially since you signed a damn contract, chick. Like, I can't feel that bad for you because this is clearly what you wanted. And, sorry that you're being disrespected by all these other side hoes, but since technically you was his side hoe, did you disrespect his woman at the time? I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot that I need to ask questions. I still want to see the contract. I still want to see what the stipulations are. I still want to see what exactly it says, the expiration date, and all that, to to really decipher what's going on here because before I see the contract, I can't really say nothing. And I can't feel bad for you, Rada. Sorry. Moving on. So, oh, and by the way, Mike says in his confessional that Rada is the only one to make him an honest man or whatever. Is it really though? Because at the end of the day, Mike, you still talking about these side hoes. So, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Because you're still talking about side hoes. So I can't believe that. You just, nice of you to be, bringing Rada up, talking so good of Rada. But, Rada's dumb. And Mike, you just stringing her along, really. So I know she's pregnant, so that's probably that's the big deal that they're still together or whatever. But Mike, get your life, figure out what you want to do. Rada, you just want to be with the man. Just stop with this. I need him to be monogamous because you was all with this. We do 3, 4, 5 since until AJ brought it up that obviously since you're talking about it so much, it bothers you. So it wasn't until AJ broke that in you for you to be like, oh, now I want to be monogamous. Because in that first episode, for that first day, you was talking all about, yeah, we have not a polygamy relationship, but like 3, 4, 5 sums. And you just don't like it because sometimes he doesn't tell you when you're about to do some other trick because you have to approve it first. Rada, Mike, I'm gonna move on. We'll probably get to you later or something, but I'm gonna move on for the time being. So we get to Yandy Mendices. I guess Yandy trying to feed him some chicken with sauce. He's like, my eyes closed, I'm not gonna, trust what you're trying to put in my mouth with my eyes closed. So it was a cute little scene. I'll admit that. It was a cute little scene or whatever. So you see her with the chicken and the sauce and she like puts it up against his teeth. I'm like, dang, you getting this man's pearly whites all dirty with chicken and sauce. Low key, even though I was full at the time of watching, that chicken and sauce did look kind of good. I don't know. Moon Blunt prepared it, so I don't know how good it is. But you know what? For the looks of for the presentation, it did look good. But I'm gonna move on. So then we get to Delicious and Raymond. Delicious giving him a massage. Pretty much all the girls are giving the men massages. And, like I said, Delicious and Raymond are talking. Delicious asks what happens to the passion. Raymond says that they've grown and they're still learning. And he admits that he drops the ball, but, he'll get it back up when. I mean, clearly in this episode, we see when. But at the time, I was just like, okay, we could talk all we want, Raymond, but we got to do the action. We got to do the action behind of what we say. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do, okay? Action speaks louder than words. As cliche as that sounds, action speaks louder than words, Raymond. So I'm going to need you to do something, but we see you do something, so that's why I'm going to cut you some slack on this episode. But, it takes more than once, Raymond. We need consistency here. But I'll step back because of what you did at the end of this episode and how you was feeling yourself, and we'll get to that. So then we get to Kirk and Rashida. They talk for a sec, whatever, moving on. You already know how I feel about them. Next. The dramatic couple of this season. Princess and Ray J, they talking. Princess is giving him hand massage. Princess says she's surprised that they won the game. Whatever. And she says in her confessional that she hopes that they can mend the relationship. That's what you said the first episode. And we see next episode that you guys go into a big blow up. Y'all both are mature. Y'all need to work on. That's the main thing y'all need to work on. Y'all need to go to not only marriage counseling. Y'all need to go to therapy. Like, y'all need to go to individual therapists. But then again, we saw what Ray J said. Like, not even a side note, but they just irk me because they're just so immature. They have so much things they need to work on individually first, but before I think they can have a decent mend of this relationship that Princess, talks about so much. Y'all just need to work on yourselves, on y'all selves, especially Ray J. Like I said, Ray J's just been giving me off vibes since Family Reunion. He needs to just work on himself. there's still a lot I feel going on with them. Well, with him that I don't know, man. I just Ray J is just exhausting to talk about. He so continuing with Princess and Ray J. Princess asks Ray J, "What do you miss about the beginning of our relationship?" Ray J thinks about it, says really he likes it better as the relationship went on and when they had kids because I guess it made him appreciate Princess more. Princess, on the opposite hand, thinks it made it worse because that's when she felt like he became more distant. And then that's when she started asking questions about, I guess, when they separated and was he, first she mentioned that, they used to go to strip clubs together. And that's when she went into asking the question of when they were separated with Ray J, did he have any chicks he was talking to? And he was like, yeah, he was honest, and I could give him that. At least he was honest, and he said, yeah. And what did Princess ask? I gotta read my notes. So I'm sorry, guys. I gotta read my notes, even though I just watched this episode. But I just want to make sure I say everything I have to say because I always like speed ahead and then forget to say something. So let me just give me like 5-10 seconds to read these. So she asks, was any of the relationships serious? And he says, of course not. So then Ray J mentions something about, in his confessional about hitting up a random that he didn't even have sex with. And I guess that probably became a big argument between him and Princess because I guess even though they weren't together, they were still living. They were still living under the same rooftop. Because I mean, Ray J said they haven't been in the same bed for over a year. So, but they were, I guess, under the same rooftop, probably legally. But he probably wasn't there every night. So, anywho, so then I guess since Princess asking him questions, he says, okay, let me ask her questions, especially about this lingerie in the purse. And at first, when he was asking her questions, and she was just like, I always have lingerie. I have lingerie in my purse. So what? At first, I was like, okay, I can understand that. Some people are just, they have their nicks. Maybe she just likes having lingerie in her purse. So I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But then when he kept talking and she was just getting quiet and talking about, he knows she's talking to someone or whatnot. And then in the confessional man, I feel like he made a starring role in this episode because he, throughout the whole episode after this point, especially with Ray J and Princess, he's just asking all these questions that they just showing on the TV. So he asked Ray J, so you went through her phone? And he's just quiet. And then I guess it pans to Princess in her confessional, and he's like, so what is Ray J talking about? And she says, I just want to prove to the world that I'm still sexy after 2 kids. Okay, so you're still not answering the question. See, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all beat around the bush. What is that? That's not the question. The question is what Ray J's implying is correct, that you're talking to someone else? And she's saying, I just want to prove to the world that I'm still sexy after having 2 kids. Princess, we know you're still sexy after having 2 kids, okay? You have your body snatched back. And even if it wasn't perfectly the way it was before you had any of kids, Princess, to society standards, you're still sexy after having 2 kids. Okay, you may have a little bump or whatever, or maybe more belly fat than you used to, but you really think men not going to still find you attractive out in these streets? Shoot, probably when you were pregnant, men were still trying to get in your DMs. Let me see your DMs, Princess, because I know men are still coming in your DMs when you were pregnant. That's a fetish, So, anywho, she says this to Ray. I'm sorry. She says this to Ray J, and, Ray J's like, you're still sexy. Yes, everybody, Princess, you're still sexy. Like, girl. But then again, it's like girls have so much insecurities. We all do. So I'll give her that. But, Princess, come on, girl. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm just annoyed. I'm half tired, but I'm also annoyed. So he says she's still sexy. And I guess she liked the fact that he was getting jealous or whatever. So she says, so like she says something to the lines of, that's how he makes her feel. Like, I guess since he was questioning her about all that, so that's what she was going through when he's just doing his own little stuff out in these streets. Ray J apologizes, whatever. I guess they mend the conversation for that scene. I really felt like there was like a producer in the background that was like, and scene. So that's where they end. Then we get to, I guess, the sexiness of this season. I guess Mike just starts sucking, licking, whatever on Rada's toes with the chicken and sauce. He pulled out the chicken and sauce, and I'm just like, it was fine before you pulled out the chicken. Like if you just had your mouth on her toes and stuff, even though she'd been walking all up on that concrete because they was outside. Even if they was inside, like she's walking up all on the floors. And then you gonna put chicken and sauce on top of that? Chicken and sauce. But then again, Mike is African. Listen, Mike, I feel like he do the randomest stuff. Chicken and sauce is probably not even the randomest thing he'll probably put on Rada's toast or suck them things, boy. Cause I don't know, but I was just like, okay, chicken and sauce. And then I feel like Ray J was looking at them and was like, oh, I gotta one up them. So then he gets out the honey, starts putting on Pinky's toes and just starts sucking them. And I'm like, is this a toe suck off or something? Like, who's next? Mendices and Yandy? Kirk Rashida? Delicious and Raymond. I feel like Delicious and Raymond probably went next, but I don't know what the producers are with Delicious and Raymond. They be cutting them out of stuff. We seen with the Ring of Fire. I'm still salty about that. But I bet you they went next and they just didn't show it. It was a toe suck off. That's literally where we ended with that thing. It was a toe suck off. Listen, do what y'all do. To each their own. I probably wouldn't do with no chicken and sauce, but to each their own. Moving on. So we get to the scene. Delicious talks with Raymond again. I guess this was like kind of their episode. This episode. Because they're just talking about the same thing throughout the whole episode, which is, I guess, their storyline or whatever. So Delicious and Raymond sit down and talk, and Delicious is just expressing to Raymond she wants him to be the captain and the alpha. Raymond says he gets it, but he's a different kind of alpha, whatever. Like, I'm just breezing over this scene because it wasn't much, because they're just talking about the same thing. Delicious doesn't want to tell him what to do, but she just wants him to take charge. Come on, Raymond. Like I said, I'm just cutting you slack, for these scenes because you kind of, I'll give you a little brownie point because you kind of redeemed yourself at the end of the episode, but we need consistency. So I'm gonna let you go with that. All right, cool. Moving on, we get to the sex scene or sex school, whatever that this episode is called. They go to this nice scene. There's rose petals, there's candles, there's like pillows and mattresses on the floor. So everybody's like, oh, what is this? What is this? Whatever. Kirk talking in the confessional that, what did he say? Kirk's nasty ass saying that he thought it was something to see who could make their girl hit the spot first. Even me and Rishi was looking at him the same way, like, what did you, like, Kirk just nasty. I feel like Kirk would probably go in with Mike and Rada under little threesomes, foursomes. Even though Mike would be the only male, but I feel like Kirk would be that person to be like, oh, can I come? Or can I watch? Like I said, ill. Kirk is ill. Okay? So Yandy introduces everyone, because like the girl's already there. Yandy says she brought her there. Yandy's just bringing all the people. Okay, cool, whatever. So I guess the girl name is Devi or Davy. I don't know how she pronounced it. I forgot how she pronounced it, but it's Devi. That's how it's spelled. So I'm gonna call her Devi. All right, cool, whatever. So She says she's a certified tantra healer and sexologist. Raymond's just like, what? Sex? What? Mendici says in his confessional he doesn't need to learn anything about sex because he already has 4 kids. Listen, anybody can have 4 kids. Okay, Mendici, that don't mean you know how to have sex. It don't. It really don't. All right, I'm not gonna go more into that because moving on. Anywho, so Devi, kind of explains her background, says she used to be a monk. Rada says isn't that only like something a guy can be? I guess previously yes, but I guess now no. So then Devi says before that she used to be a stripper, so that's when all the girls are like, oh yeah, okay, okay, cool, cute, whatever. So they get into talking about, she starts talking about orgasms, and Mike asks a question about even when you pull out. Mike just, like I said, Mike is the comedic relief for this whole show, for this whole season. So, yes, that made people chuckle. I kind of chuckled. I just shook my head and laughed. Whatever. And, she continues talking about orgasming without ejaculating. Everybody's shocked about that, but clearly y'all don't read no sex books. That's nothing new. Anywho, okay, orgasming without ejaculating. She talks about having how females can have 15 different types of orgasms, and everybody's just like, "Are you serious?" Delicious is saying, "I probably had about 2 or 3, but not 15." Mike is saying it's already hard to get a girl to orgasm, like a one regular orgasm, let alone now you got 14 other ones to try to figure out. And yes, you know, I think I've heard about that, but I think I don't think it's that easy for someone to orgasm 15 different types of ways. And if they did, let me know. Like, let me talk to me. Please explain this to me or send me a book because I would like to know this. Am I going to do my research? Probably not because I'm going to forget probably by tomorrow. But please let me know. Please explain. Go into detail. Maybe I need to hit Devi up, get her book or whatever. Anywho, but that was interesting. Everybody was surprised. I'm just like, y'all some damn kids getting surprised over every little detail, whatever. Anywho, so then they go and do a connection practice, a movement practice. She's going through each of the couples, telling them to put their hand on the heart, doing little exercises and stuff. What she's, asked there to do and help, whatever. So she goes to Princess and Ray J, and Princess says that I guess she's asking Princess and Ray J if there's anything she can do to help them with their connection or whatnot. And I guess that's when Princess decides upon herself to bring up that pretty much her and Ray J, they just do the same positions and he doesn't look her in the eye. So then Debbie asks Ray J to look Princess in the eye, and because look, I'm stumbling over my words as I do every week. I feel like. So Debbie says she can see that Ray J is having a hard time looking at her right now because he's just like, I guess, looking all over the place or whatnot. And she's like, just look her in the eye. And she sees that he's having a hard time even doing that. So then in the confessional, Princess says he has a hard time looking at her in the eye because like during intimate moments, he's always looking at her in the back of her head, if you catch her drift. Princess, even before you even said that, when you was talking to Debbie at the whole practice or whatever I was doing, we got caught what you were saying when you said you guys do the same positions and he doesn't look you and I. We got what you were trying to say. But thank you for confirming in the confessionals that he just looks at the back of your head. Thank you for giving me that visual of you guys doing like doggy style, or from what he said in the confessional later on, sideways, whatever. Like, thank you. Y'all not a person I would want to be on the fly for either, because I just feel like they have like basic vanilla sex. So that's not something. Would I rather them over Kirk and Rashida? Probably, sure, fine. But y'all not someone I'm trying to be a fly on the wall for either. So, Princess, you not shocking nobody with your little confessional. That's like, okay, well, okay, sure, fine, sure. So, so she's tired of that position. Ray J says in the confessional that he has no problem looking anyone in the eye, but when you look away, it creates a disconnect. How are you creating a disconnect when you're not even looking the person in the eye? Please explain that to me, Ray J. You're not afraid of looking anyone in the eye. Yes, Ray J. Okay, Ray J. Yes, you're not afraid of anyone. Okay, whatever. Ray J always has an excuse. Ray J always has, some rebuttal comeback for everything. Ray J, grow up, please. This is episode 5. I'm so tired of saying the same thing every. Grow up, please. So, like I said, since the confessional guy making a cameo or like starring in this episode, so um, he asks Ray J, what is Princess talking about with the eye contact? So, Ray J's dramatic, so he does this little long dramatic pause, and he's like, it's because he's always hitting it from the side, so it blocks the one-on-one eye contact. So why don't you try different positions, Ray J? Like, is that your special move? Like, we saw we listen, we saw the sex tape with Kim Kardashian, bro. How long has it been since? Come on, Ray J, you grown ass man. Like, do these chicks that you be entertaining from the strip club like that too? Ray J, we need to talk. We need to talk. You don't know me at all. We need to talk because your whole aura is just off. You need help. You need help. I can't help you, but you need help. I would still like to talk, but you need help, bro. Okay, so moving on from that, not really, don't know. I'll see what my note says. So sorry, I'm tired, but I'm sticking through. We almost done. We getting through this. All right, it's already 31 minutes, but I'm gonna do my best. So he says he can work on that, on the eye contact, and he tells Princess that he will work on it. And Debbie's like, okay, so why don't you guys start tonight? And then Ray J is probably all for. He's just like, shoot, that's if she gives me some or whatever. And Princess is all smiling, giggly, whatever. Okay, cute, classic Princess and Ray J. And while he's saying it, he's obnoxiously chewing gum. I thought it was funny for the moment, but if I was there in person, I'd probably be like, bro, stop chewing your damn gum. First off, spit that thing out before we do any of these exercises. Unless if he's into that thing where he chews gum and puts it in her mouth and then she chews it. Ew. Okay. And then Debbie asks him to make eye contact at that moment. And he's like, oh, I could do it all day long. Whatever, Ray J. Princess is pretty much saying in her confessional that she'll believe it when she sees it about him doing eye contact, especially during sex. We'll believe it when we see it too, girl. You let us know. So then Debbie goes to Delicious and Raymond, and Delicious wants Raymond to lead the way. And Raymond is said in the confessional that he got her. And we seen that you do got her, Raymond. I'll give you that. Kudos to you. So Raymond is demonstrating stuff, and I guess they're whispering and talking. I guess he's saying stuff that I guess he thinks she wants to hear, talking aggressive and cussing her out, calling her bitch and whatnot. And people are looking at them because like I guess she's liking it because she starts doing this like weird moan or whatever, or the way maybe it's a real moan. I don't know. But she starts doing this little moan thing, and everybody's looking at them, and I would have been looking at them too. I would have been like, oh, what y'all got going on? Would I be a fly on their wall? Probably. I probably would. Yeah, I probably would. So I guess she's liking it. They're in front of everybody. They rubbing on each other. He's laying her back on the floor and stuff, and just talking to her softly. She loving the things. I'm like, okay, y'all do what y'all do. Get a room, guys. Get a room, kids. So that's cool, whatever. And Then I guess after that whole little exercise, so they're just, taking the instructions of Devi, and Devi's just talking to them about breathing through their genitals and transferring energy and whatnot. And Ray J, like, well, all a couple of people were kind of like, "What are you talking about? Breathing through your genitals?" But Ray J was the most vocal about it. Whatever. Ray J is always vocal about not understanding what stuff of an exercise and whatnot. He's just got to be the difficult person. So whatever. So then after that, Devi starts talking about the anatomy and brings toys for everyone: books, lubricant, vibrator, clit stimulants, and multiple items. She brings them all bags. I wish technically on a national TV show, so I wish she would have said free giveaway to the first person who does whatever people do for giveaways. Hit me up, Devi. Send me a free gift bag. I would like one. Not necessarily because I need the items, just because it's like free stuff. I would definitely take free stuff. So we move on from that and we get to the end of the night. They're doing little video diaries. We get to Ray J, and he says in his video diary that he has all the tools now and wants to thank Devi pretty much for, what she did that night for them, whatever. And then in the background, you hear the buzzing, and it even says in the captions like vibrator buzzing or buzzing vibrator, whatever. And I guess Princess does a little giggle, ill, okay, we know y'all about to get it in, or maybe she's already getting it in for herself. So okay, cool, whatever. Good luck to Ray J and Princess. Don't care. Moving on. We get to Kirk, and he's doing his little diary confessional and said he's going to take 20 to 40 minutes before getting into it, and that he said Rashida has to return the favor. Now, looking at that whole video, he looked loose as a goose, and I'm just like, Kirk, just take your drunk ass back in the room and just do whatever you do with Rashida, because I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see it. Kirk, just turn off the camera and go in the room, please. Do whatever y'all do. We don't care. We could care less. Just do whatever. Moving on. Next, we get to Rada said something in the confessional. I don't even remember what she said. Moving on. So then Delicious, we get to the next morning, and Delicious she's talking. That voice, like after you done did it, you just feel like so euphoric. All your little I don't even know the word. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. When you just feel that so good and great. So you just have that like feeling, and like the way she's talking, like such a soft voice, like, oh, there's like not a care in the world. And she's just saying, her and Raymond connected, and she got to know his body, and she's just like in a bliss. And I'm like, oh, so y'all did it, y'all fucked last night, and it, from the way she's acting, it was good too. So I'm like, hey, listen, girl, kudos to you. Then we get to Raymond, and he's just like, what did he say? Your boy's in business, and he did a little wink. Listen, Raymond, good job. That's 1 point. That's 1 point though. Okay, we need you to keep doing this. We're not saying every night, even though I'm pretty sure Delicious wouldn't mind every night. I'm not trying to say every night, Raymond, but keep it up. Okay, this is just the first step. Okay, congratulations. You opened the next door. You went to the next chapter. We need consistency, and we need you to continue, because it's only 5 episodes in, and I'm already tired of Delicious talking about this, about you need to be alpha. And you talking about you get okay, good. You did the first step. You made her come. She mentioned something about 15 orgasms. I doubt it was 15 different type of orgasms, but whatever, girl. You happy? That's all that matters. Raymond, keep it up. Do more. Okay, I'm gonna need you to do more. Especially when you go back home, please do more. And I think that's where it ends. With his little wink and whatnot, and Clearly, from next episode, looks like it might be the season finale. I don't know, but all right. So Raymond Delicious, Raymond, just keep fucking your wife, okay? Mike and Rada try to annul try to void the contract. I don't think you can have a real relationship until you void the contract. So try to do that. Uh, Kirk and Rashida, y'all the same old, still gonna be the same. Moving on, Yandy and Mendices, y'all gonna make it through. And Princess and Ray J, y'all just toxic. Y'all just toxic. Look, my hair messed up. Anyway, that is it. We are at 40 minutes. I'm about to stop this. I'm about to go to sleep so I can go to work tomorrow. And I will see you guys next week or whenever they play the next episode, possibly season finale. And you guys have a good night. Bye, guys.